Welcome back to OtakuDaiKun, dai-chan here, and you're watching the Waifu Files, a show where we discover various anime by celebrating their lovely ladies. Now, when I say anime, I'm taking the liberty of being open-minded. There are plenty of works that may not originate from Japan, but still have the exact same appeal as Japanese anime or games. Today's topic, Stellar Blade, is one of those cases. It's developed by Shift Up, a Korean company that also created Nikke Goddess of Victory. Nikke's phenomenal for its own reasons, but Stellar Blade deserves focus for being a crazy awesome action game loaded with gorgeous female characters. It's enough to make game journalists bend over backwards to either hate or praise it. I'd prefer not to focus on that drama though. If you're here, I assume you're a cultured otaku like me, so let's not waste any time focusing on fools who just don't get it. To give this story and its characters the spotlight they deserve, I have no choice but to dive into spoiler territory. The same rules apply to pretty much every lore video I make, so do be prepared. Before we get started, consider buying this dakimakura of me from Cuddly Octopus. Celebrate your fandom with the most huggable merch possible. This is a spicy design, so you'll have to Google it for yourself, but it's totally worth it. Without further ado, let's dive into today's waifu. Stellar Blade is set on a post-apocalyptic Earth. Apparently, humanity has been nearly annihilated by freakish mutant creatures called Naytiba. In the original script, they were supposed to be called natives, but I guess that triggered pathetic Americans who make everything political. The last bastion of hope against the Naytiba is an artificial intelligence named Mother Sphere. It manages an outer space colony dedicated to building humanoid warriors, the Andro-Eidos, and sends them to Earth in separate squads. Each time, Mother Sphere improves upon their design, aiming to create a squad of fighters capable of wiping out the Naytiba for good. Our protagonist, Eve, is a member of the 7th Airborne Squad, and the only one to survive its first mission. Her goal in life, her one objective, is to slay Naytiba, specifically the Alpha Naytiba, which in turn protect an elder that controls the rest. She and her leader, Tachy, storm the beach they land upon, only to be devastated by the might of an Alpha with wings. Eve, on the verge of death, is rescued by a man named Adam, who repairs her injuries and looks after her via a floating drone. With Adam as a navigator, Eve is able to continue her mission. Their journey takes them to Zion, a final hideout for Earth's surviving populace. In exchange for restoring Zion's power, the city's leader, Oracle, tracks down the remaining Alpha Naytiba. At the same time, however, Eve learns more than she bargained for about the world and its sorry state. Mother Sphere is not the benevolent deity they ought to worship, nor are the people of Zion the humanity Eve thought she was protecting. The original humans created Mother Sphere, and the Andro-Eidos were made as humanity's replacement. Before the final war against the Naytiba, there was a massive war between humans and their superior android counterparts. Desperate to improve themselves and survive, the humans native to Earth experimented on themselves, ultimately becoming the Naytiba. Eve is shocked to learn that she's been slaughtering the very beings she was ordered to save. The people of Zion, whom she thought were humans, are simply more Andro-Eidos like her. Mother Sphere kept everyone in the dark so that, one day, the Andro-Eidos would finally claim Earth as the dominant species. After discovering this, Eve is forced to choose whether to continue her hunt for the Elder Naytiba or betray Mother Sphere and rise as the savior of both races. As a character, Eve is stoic yet compassionate. She has an adventurous will to pursue her mission in spite of its danger. As she proceeds, however, she reasons that helping the people of Zion is just as important. The friends she makes expand her interests and morality, ensuring that her final decision is sincere and thoroughly considered. For the sake of sheer spectacle, Eve is able to dress in a wide variety of outfits, or nanosuits, allowing players to cater her appeal to our interests. That doesn't make her a passive object, but rather an empowering force that leaves us spellbound from every angle. In that regard, she is truly ideal, an absolute pleasure to control through the Earth's barren wastelands while fighting insanely menacing foes. While some idiots may call her the product of a bygone era, I see Eve as the start of a revolution to ensure that hot characters are still beloved in modern media. She's truly, without a doubt, a certified favorite. I can only hope to see more of her, or more of her ilk, in future games. Also, if you're interested, be sure to watch my video rating all of Eve's different outfits. Eve's leader in the 7th Airborne Squad is Tachy, another badass babe who earned her position through unmatched speed in the colony's combat simulator. Without so much as a solid minute to appreciate Earth, she and her squad are immediately tossed into a harrowing battle. Tachy rescues Eve from her landing pod, and the two of them storm the beach. Just as their offensive builds momentum, however, it is crushed when an especially menacing Naytiba descends upon them. Knowing that both of them won't survive, Tachy valiantly sacrifices her life so that Eve can carry the torch of their crusade. Her arm is severed, and she becomes fodder for the Naytiba's destruction. Although Eve assumes her dead, Tachy is actually spared. In a tragic twist, she is captured and preserved with the core of an alpha Naytiba. This corrupts her, making her one with the enemy. Eve is left with no choice but to defeat her own superior officer. In this way, Tachy can be put to rest, but not before asking Eve to upload her memories to the colony network. She remains loyal to Mother Sphere, never learning the full truth about her mission. Thanks to Eve's mechanic Lily, however, Eve is able to channel Tachy's combat data, preserving the squad leader's fighting spirit. She's cool, whether as a soldier or a corrupted servant of the Naytiba. That makes having to kill her all the more tragic. Of course, we could never have Eve's Tachy form without the help of Lily Artemis II, a support android first sent to Earth as part of the 5th Airborne Squad. Unfortunately, her landing coordinates were inaccurate, causing her to separate from the rest of her squad. For an entire year, Lily wandered the Earth avoiding Naytiba while searching for her squad mates. Just when all hope was lost, she reached the district of Eidos 9 and discovered another crash site. A fellow member from her squad, Iberis, sustained severe damage to her body cell, dying shortly after being discovered. Lily opted to preserve Iberis's body at a workshop she built beneath a luscious greenery. She resumed her journey for another year until the 7th Airborne Squad touched down on the planet. Lily tracked down Eve's signal, but encountered an alpha Naytiba en route. Unable to fight, she instead hid within a crashed pod, waiting for Eve to come rescue her. Finally, with an offensive unit to support, Lily joins Adam and Eve as they hunt down the other alphas. She's an enthusiastic, kind-hearted girl who sees Eve as a sister of sorts. She can hardly believe the truth about Mother Sphere, refusing to accept that, as an Andro Eidos, she has no real human DNA. Despite this, she sticks with Eve to the very end, nearly dying when Mother Sphere takes control of her exosuit. Should the player max out Lily's affection bar, she returns to Eidos 9 to retrieve Iberis's memory stick. This allows her to, at the very last moment, eject from her mobile suit and survive the final battle. I'm glad, because it would suck to have one of my certified favorites die after all we went through together. I can't say for sure why she's got the name she does, especially when the other Andro Eidos don't seem to have full names, though I suspect Artemis II is referring to the Artemis II NASA space mission. Raven, or Ray-Even, as it's pronounced in Korean, is a member from the 2nd Airborne Squad. She discovered Mother Sphere's true intentions years before Eve's arrival, and left behind messages or legacies so that future generations would also learn the truth. That said, the revelation drove Raven to madness, and to settle her confusion, she went to confront the elder Naytiba, Adam, or more accurately, the human Rael Marx. Originally, he created the Naytiba so that humans could fight back against Mother Sphere and the Andro Eidos, but he's ultimately opted for a new plan. By fusing himself with the Andro Eidos, he hopes to create a new form for humanity, one that can survive without fearing Mother Sphere or the Naytiba. Raven qualified as one of the chosen candidates, and so she pledged herself to Adam. She became an alpha Naytiba for his sake, only to be passed up in favor of Eve. Feeling rejected, she attacked future airborne squads, hoping to prove herself superior to Eve. This includes corrupting Tachy in an attempt to break Eve's spirit. Raven challenges Eve in her Naytiba form, and later as a proper android warrior. Her skills are formidable, renowned as the best swordswoman in the entire colony, but in the end, Raven loses to her rival. While she expects to be put out of her misery, Eve instead spares her, but only after disabling all of her combat functions. Furious, she is forced to endure as Eve claims the approval she wanted from Adam. Again, she's awesome all around, even as a ruthless opponent. I'm glad she wasn't outright killed. There's a chance we may see more of her in a potential sequel. Turns out, Mother Sphere herself qualifies as a waifu. Rael Marx originally created her to help humanity evolve. Rather than modify the existing humans, however, Mother Sphere opted to instead create the Andro Eidos in their image. From the very beginning, humans and Andro Eidos fought with one another, escalating into an all-out war. Her creations pushed humanity to the brink of extinction. The only survivors were humans who fled to underground facilities, only to emerge again as the nightmarish Naytiba. Mother Sphere's ultimate goal, the Eve Protocol, is to have her Andro Eidos finally complete their extermination of mankind. This is ironic, given how she still values her creator's ambition. Both of them aim for the same thing, but hope to achieve it through different means. If Stellar Blade gets a sequel, I hope to see more of her, the colony, and precisely how the Andro Eidos are made. Obviously, they're a hybrid of cybernetics and living tissue, but Eve remarks being born while suspended in water. While I can totally picture the opening of Ghost in the Shell for that, I'd still love to see Shift Up's interpretation. A lot of these waifu are either residents of or loyal to Zion. Enya is an android who sings at the city's bar, The Last Gulp. Unlike the Andro Eidos, she was far more cybernetic, or at least what's left of her is. She was salvaged by a sentinel named Sue, who protects her at the bar. Along with most of her body, Enya is missing her memories, which were damaged during the final war. Back when humans were still human, Enya was a famous android named Madame Machine, who used to sing at a major opera house. Her trademark song was called Beyond Fate, and even though she can't recall her past, this song's melody remains fresh in her mind. Sue cares deeply for Enya, hoping to provide her a functioning body. He wants to save her on his own, but is left relying on Eve and Lily to help restore her features. Before long, Enya gains a torso and functioning legs, finally allowing her to interact on Sue's level. She's grateful to learn about her past, but prioritizes her life with Sue above all else. Just like the lyrics to her song, Enya chooses to look toward the future, optimistic in the face of desolation. Too bad the other folks in Zion don't have the same fortune. Kaya and her sister Kara are scavengers who open up a shop in Zion called Sister's Junk. As the name implies, they merchandise parts and commodities recovered from the wasteland and Great Desert. It's dangerous work, and during one excursion, Kaya was forced to abandon both her bike and her trunk. Kara too found herself under attack from the Naytiba, getting lost in the desert. Left alone in Zion, Kaya remains hopeful that her sister will one day return, but it's a naive sentiment. Eve eventually does find Kara, but only as a corpse. Upon receiving her sister's memory stick, Kaya is forced to accept Kara's death. Even so, she feels that having Kara's memory stick is a form of reunion. She continues to run the store on her own, never feeling truly alone. It's bittersweet, made all the more tragic by Kaya's timid, frail demeanor. Her design is brilliant, with gorgeous hair and a cute face. I just want to give her a big hug. Roxanne is an intimidating woman who hangs out in Zion's backstreets, selling information. The other residents spread rumors that she's ex-mafia or some kind of secret agent. They describe her as a snake, which she doesn't really see the need to deny. Despite that, none of her activities are illegal, and it seems she's trying to help Zion in her own way. Regardless, Eve tends to keep her distance, never probing too deeply into Roxanne's true intentions or feelings. The next 3 waifu are a triple play. Zion, and most of its treasured locales, are watched over by the Royal Guard, 3 twin sisters who stand their ground against intruders. Rael protects Oracle within Zion itself, while her sisters Quiel and Shael guard 2 underground facilities where the Natiba were made. They don't take shit from anyone, and even after Eve is tasked by Oracle to visit these ruins, they refuse to let her in without first confirming her strength. All 3 share an attractive visage, and I love going toe-to-toe with them in battle. They more or less force you to get a perfect parry combo on them, and it low-key feels bad to run them through with a sword, even if they can just repair themselves like Eve can. Oh well, it is their sworn duty, and I have no right stopping them. Speaking of duty, the very last waifu in Stellar Blade carries out her tasks to the end, literally. Arisa is an android maid built to escort passengers on the Rafael Space Center's orbital elevator. She's been standing around for years waiting for new guests to arrive, and when Eve shows up, she gives a guided tour of the living quarters. To my complete shock, she gets crushed by debris when Natiba break through from the ceiling above. She's apparently a mass-produced android with limited intelligence, but I won't let that tarnish her dedication. She may not be the hottest waifu, but I send her my respects all the same. With that, I've covered all 12 main waifu in Stellar Blade. It has an amazing roster, even though we only needed Eve to carry the experience on her own. I imagine potential sequels will showcase more, while further developing the waifu already present. Hopefully, you've enjoyed this game just as much as I have. Beyond this, I have an entire playlist filled with other waifu you can check out right now. Regarding this video though, who's your Stellar Blade waifu? Let me know in the comments below. See you later!
Thanks for watching.
If you enjoy this channel, help us grow by liking, commenting, sharing the video, subscribing to OtakuDaiKun, and
most of all, smashing that notification bell so you don't miss out on all our anime lore, discussions, and Let's Play content.
You can support us directly through Patreon, Subscribestar, or a YouTube membership, all of which come with benefits like spicy exclusive vids and early access.
As always, celebrate your fandom. I want to give a special shout out to all my $10 and up supporters: Video Gamer 75, Dante Pendragon, Lunarworks, Stephen Elak, Samuel Gersten, The Nonchalant Ostrich, Otaku Mom, Jens Bauman, Mystic Samurai 1983, Lord Ormagoden, Free Brick, Alexis Yukio Gomez Yamato, Link Pendrago, Observer Bellis, James Hewitt, Uncanny EXP, Zamas Autonomous, Yuki Eidos, Scout, Crow Kalem, Sal Soto, Tristan Riggin, Major, Meifu Mado, Caitlin P, Sogai CH, Vladimirovna, The Taz 96, Jonathan Padua, Kengo X77, Hersha of E-Rated Hands, Alester Bernadotte, and Akakaze Yume. Thank you all so much.